Welcome back to How Not to MTGA. I might have to change the title because I am now Diamond rank with this deck, Fun Police. Basically it's a counterspell deck, except that I hate counterspell decks because I just see counterspell decks as removal, not really with a win condition. So I like to get multiple values from a artifact deck. So we start with artifact. We start with Ruined Halo. Basically, this takes out big attackers. It doesn't work against tokens. That's the only bad thing about it. All right, this is to help us get cards because we have some expensive pieces and blockers. This takes out mutate creatures like you wouldn't believe. I added this extra removal at the end because I didn't have quite enough, and bumping it up to 62 just seems to be the perfect number. So that was actually the last. Heliod is a win condition because when you start getting creatures going, it can get nuts. And so this is how you get big creatures in this deck. That is essentially spell slinging. Midnight Clock is to help us fight off against other mill decks. Mirrormade, this does a lot because it started as an enchantment deck, and it can also give you extra midnight clocks if you're against aggressive mill. Archon of the Sun's Grace is a win condition. It generates tokens and healing. This is our main counter spell. It completely shuts down strategies of decks if you get the right cards on an opponent's deck. In an old version of the deck, I could give all my permanents flash, and then Mirrormade would work as an additional erasure, but unfortunately that card rotated out. So Arcanist Owl is to give us card advantage essentially, and the aerial blocker. Elspeth Conquers Death is to return our few creatures when they die and to exile problematic cards, and since they're permanents you can take out just about anything. And then our last piece is Shark Typhoon. This just adds value to everything. It can be an early blocker if you use the cycling. But basically that is the way this deck wins, is just added value. You're always getting more than you're removing from the opponent. So that's what the reason this is called Fun Police is it tries to keep the opponents from doing anything while you slowly gain ground. Yeah, and so this is just the most tuned version of the deck. I am slowly climbing up Diamond on this. I wanted to save that for the end, but my last video did not get hardly any views. It wasn't very well done, but anyways, so I'm just leading with the Diamond part. So, okay, I have both my colors. That's usually my philosophy on a hand is that's just a good time ruiner, is when you don't have both colors. And so this essentially does it. It's not an ideal hand at all though. Since they're not going to be attacking me with aggressive creatures, I'm going to go ahead and get the blue land. If not, I would use I'd use it to grab a white. Like if we were going up against red and they had something really aggressive or green, I might get the Ruined Halo out right away. Oh, the other nice thing against with Ruined Halo is when you're going up against Dimir Rogue, you can start the game out by blocking Xanath or Zareth or whatever his name is, and when you do that, you can just do that from the beginning, and then they just have a card in their hand that is useless the entire game, which is kind of fun. But that's what they get for being basic and net decking. Okay, so the reason I cycled the Shark Tornado right away is because I am trying to get out my artifact, so that way I can start putting tokens on it and stop them from milling me out. That is my main goal at this point in the game, because I know I'm probably going to eventually beat them. Well, unless this is rogues, I guess. So, because rogue can theoretically beat me on the ground and mill me out, but alright, this just feels like a trap. Yeah, diamond, I don't expect. Alright, and my little strategy of cycling my shark worked out perfectly. I got my midnight clock. And I'm sitting good. For the next 2 turns, I can counterspell whatever they throw at me. Except that they did that. So now it's a moral dilemma. Do I want to generate tokens, or do I want to counterspell? Even though this was like 2 days ago, I already don't remember what happened. So, because I've played so many games since then. Thinking about it? Oh, I went with it. Okay. Like I said, my kind of philosophy on this is to have to get value out of the cards. Now, what I should have done was play the land first and played the Ruined Halo, so that way he can't life gain, because that's the way I'm going to win this game. But if he did that, then I would have been able to block. So, oh crap! My screensaver came up and it screwed everything up. All right. Alright. If you haven't noticed, I'm terrible at remembering card. Oh, okay, I thought I was going to have to view the battlefield. Alright, so now I'm all set to counter whatever they play while gaining some life. I'm really disappointed that countering an adventure does not counter the entire card. They can still play the creature side of it after this. I thought I was getting double the value off of this, but I guess not. But part of what I mean by value, if you're not super into the lingo, is that with Ashiok's Erasure, you're countering, not only are you countering the spell, you're preventing them from casting the spell again. So, if I get out all 3 of my Ashiok's Erasures, I'm stopping 12 of their cards. There's 12 cards that they can't play if I block it on the first one. So that's what I mean by the Xerath. I'd be much happier right now if I had used that the Halo. I think this is the game where I realized how Xerath worked, because I thought if I prevented the damage, then it wouldn't have worked. And I also don't think I realized that Xerath could pull any permanent out of the graveyard, not just creatures. Let's see here. Alright, so I want to prevent them from getting a creature. Oh, wait, hold on. I don't know what I was considering for so long here. Yeah, there's like 2 different pieces here that I'm massively thinking about. Oh, I see. I was waiting for him. I was considering playing a spell. So, got rid of the Xerath. I can keep up my blockers so I can take out their flyer. I'm already up to 7 tokens on the midnight clock. Okay. Probably has a combat trick here, but I'm going to make him spend it anyways. It's sort of the win-win here. Yeah, so... Okay. Alright, I was wondering which one I did. So I'm going to use the Mirrormade, I'm guessing, to copy the Elspeth. Oh, no, I went with the Halo. Alright, so I went with my other plan. Alright, so there, I got the Zereth, so he can't get anything from my graveyard anymore until he removes that enchantment. Alright, so the main thing he's doing now... Oh, I even have a blocker for that, so I'm in a pretty good position. He's probably not going to mill me out with how many counters I have on the midnight clock. Yeah, if he was milling me out super aggressively, like I said, I had always had the option. Oh, and this is when it's really nice to get out the... what is that, Mystic Sundial? Is that what that says? Because... I can use it on that, yeah, that guy, the Soaring Thought Thief, and that way his ability to mill me on attacking doesn't trigger, so attacking with Zereth is completely pointless now. And like I said, I'm not worried about being milled too much, because in like 2 turns I'm about to get all that stuff back into my hand. I do see some point if when people start putting graveyard hate back into decks because of this, which will screw up my other favorite deck, which is kind of like a spells version of this, where this one started as enchantment. Alright, and so I have enough to cast both, so I should... Oh, I see. Oh, I see what's happening. I'm not quite sure how I did that, but... Yeah, that's super satisfying when you counterspell one of their counterspells, and you just... So they're going to have a bunch of counterspells in their hands that don't do anything. And the other thing nice about this is I have an empty hand and I'm about to get my hand completely refilled. Alright, so the Zereth triggers because he's got 2 of the Soaring Thought Thieves. Might as well kill this guy so he has 1 less attacker. Yeah, he's taking out my token, but if he had some kind of combat trick, then at least I'm not losing both my my Archons. Alright, there we go. That's the 12. New hand. What's really nice is when that triggers on the opponent's turn, and then you draw some Mystic Sundials, really mess up their day. So now, get Shark Typhoon out, I'm going to get 2 tokens off of this. So now every time I cast an enchantment, I'm going to be gaining 3 tokens. And there's a Mirrormade there. I usually Mirrormade the Shark Typhoon because then I'm just getting even more crazy. tokens out, so. Yeah, so this deck does pretty well against just about every kind of deck, so. I won't ruin the preview too much to see, because I don't remember which games we played. Alright, so he finally quit because he realized that it would be very hard to beat me, because though I only do have 2 midnight clocks in there, so unless I Mirrormade them, I can only undo their milling twice. Okay, I have both my colors again. As I said, that makes me happy. So this is just 3 games recorded in a row. The only editing I do on these videos is I speed up the portions where I have less to say slightly, and I slow down the sections where I say more. So that is the only editing I do on these videos. I don't know if that really matters to anyone, but I know I did lose a couple after I stopped recording, but I still made it to Diamond, so that's what's important. Okay. I'm not going to cycle yet because I'm not going to get anything out of it. Paying 3 for a 1/1 and a card draw is not a bad rate. I've got fairies and decks that do that, so. But I'll probably put down my midnight clock, because you definitely want to ramp up in this deck with all the good, really good pieces are expensive. Like, on my next turn, if I don't get a land, I might Mirrormade the next one, so. A nice thing about this deck, too, is that with the Shark Typhoon, and the Pegasus, and the Archon, and all that, a lot of your threats are in the air, so you can ruin Halo, death touch creatures. It makes not as many death touch threats are in the air in this current meta, so I'm just trying to ramp up to that Shark Typhoon now, because, like I said, it's all about getting that value. So the sooner you can get that Shark Typhoon out, then everything you cast comes with a token. So the other nice thing about the Midnight Clock is that it makes enchantment removal not quite as big of a threat, because it lets you get everything you lose back. So usually they're going to run out of enchantment removal, and then you get all your stuff back, and then they have no way to deal with it later in the game. So even if they short-term have solutions to it, so it's just about staying alive long enough to diminish them. Okay, so casting the Archon first. I screw this up later, I don't remember if it's a game I recorded. Then you cast the Mirrormade. So you get a trigger. So, yeah, look at all the triggers that, well, if I didn't cover them. I just tried to move my mouse like I could move it, like it wasn't previously recorded. Okay. This is a tough call because neither of the cards they have out so far cost more than 2. But the other thing to keep in mind is that when I cast Elspeth Conqueror's Death, now, well, he's going to make me discard it anyway, so it didn't matter. But if I would have cast that, I would have gotten out 2 5/5s. And another 2/2, so. And cool, I still get to do it. Right, I'll still take my 2/2 flyers, those are nice. Alright, and the other thing, when you have more than one midnight clock out, whenever you can, try to throw some extra tokens on one of them, so that way they don't both trigger at the same time, because that makes it kind of useless. You want to be able to empty out your hand before... oh, yeah, this is not a fun situation here. This is the one situation where it's kind of tricky if you want to put counters on the midnight clock or not, because if I empty out my graveyard before I get Elspeth out, it's I'll lose anything I could bring back, so I'm not getting quite as much value out of Elspeth Conqueror's Death. Okay. Okay. Might as well, because they're only going to do 4 damage to me next turn. Yeah, so this is looking like a win here. Since they're not going to be able to cast anything. Alright, so he's milling cards, but I'm not really concerned with that right now. It's not going to impact how I'm playing anything. Right then. So in this situation, I had kind of a dilemma there. I could have cast it just to get the card trigger, but I figured it was better just to get the card draw, and kept it open because I might have gotten something like, you know, a sundial or something that would have negated some abilities, but they were down to 2 life, so they just folded. I don't blame them. So, even though I'm winning a lot here, I have run into, you know, there's definitely situations where this can get out of hand. I don't want to give the impression that this deck always wins. It's just, I like to do one run through and not have any, I mean, I guess there's blank spots where I could put in cuts, but this is just 3 games that I grabbed. But yeah, just every once in a while I get like a bum hand, and I have answers to everything, but sometimes they just get out their stuff faster. Okay. Gaining life. Oh, I thought this was just white at first. Going against like a white aggro is almost always a win for us. Wait, do I lose this one? I don't remember winning against this deck. I just remember thinking spiders were more problematic than I initially thought they'd be. Okay. Alright, if I didn't have anything else to play, playing the Halo wouldn't have been a bad idea because this could be a mutate deck I'm going against, or they could be throwing counters on that spider. A lot of things could happen. I usually go for the blue land, not just because I need 2 blue land at this point, but the other factor in this is that I have a Saga that can only look for planes, so when I'm using Fabled Passage, I usually go just for... I shouldn't have attacked here. Yeah, because of that. Oh, well that ended up working out for me, so... I don't mind that I attacked. Oh, never mind. Spoke too soon. Though he did have to 2 for 1, in a way. He had to spend 2 cards to deal with my 1 card. So that means he's getting less value, so... or she, let's see. Eternal Yen. Could definitely be a woman. Sorry, I always assume it's a guy. Catch myself in it every time, and I never learn. Okay. Even though I usually play Magic against women. That's the funny thing about me always assuming it's a guy online. Most of the time I'm playing Magic, it's with a woman. Okay. Right, gotta copy that Shark Typhoon. The Alchemist Owl or Arcanist Owl, I forget what it's called. I can't see it on the little screen that I'm previewing this on. It's not an enchantment, so it does not trigger the Archon. And it's not and it's a creature, so it doesn't oh, it's Arcanist. That's what it was. Yeah. And it's a creature, so it doesn't trigger the Shark Typhoon, so quick suggestion. They Arena, if you want some like premium stuff to offer, having it go do when you have more than 3 sharks come out would be a great little macro to add that someone might spend money on. Not me, because I'm cheap. Alright, so you know, I wasn't even considering that these giants do damage to me if I target them. I only cared about the reach. I'm gonna gain enough health off this that I really don't care if he attacks me. Alright, and then you fold it. Okay. That was the 3rd game. And then... Alright. So this is 5 games later. This is the point where I realized this was going to be the game where I won and pushed across into Diamond. Let's see if anything really interesting happened. Okay. They got a Clackbridge Troll, which is one of my favorite cards, but I haven't had a deck in a while that used it effectively, so I tried doing a what is that? Not Dominion. What is that ability called? Devotion. I tried making a black Devotion deck with it, but because it draws and it's got 2 pips on it, but even that didn't work out terribly well. But I got out the Halo, so I don't have to sacrifice creatures because I don't care if he attacks me, because he's going to do 0 damage to me. See? Okay, they have 29 health. I'm down to 10. So that's how close these games can get before you can start turning them around. I had used the Sundial just because that creature was doing 3 damage to me every turn, and I did not have an answer until this point. So I believe, if I remember right, that I had discarded this guy, Heliod. I had discarded him, and so I just got him for free, because I knew that the Elspeth was going to bring him back 2 turns later. Alright, so I will not be surprised if he folds, because he is monumentally screwed. I could use the Elspeth to take out that Clack Bridge, but I don't care. As I've said in other videos, I really like things that pull the land out of your deck, so that way you're less likely to draw the land. So that's part of why I like Fabled Passage so much. Okay, they're just gonna take him out again, the Heliod. So but I still got value out of it because they had to use a spell that they could have used on something else in order to stop that thing that I tricked them into giving me for free. And my hand's about to refill, because I have a midnight clock ready to go. So they're about to wipe me. Alright, so I'm going to use my mana. Get that midnight clock. And get my Heliod back. Oh, so part of the reason I did that too is because if I drew another Elspeth, I would have gotten
you had a
back
fraction of
into
my power.
hand there. Alright, so he wants me to discard. Oh, guess what? I got
Sorry
land.
for your loss.
Yeah. Yeah, so even though I knew, or I was feeling confident that I was going to win this game, this is,
Well, that was a waste.
he still did a board wipe. Or they did. They did a board wipe, yeah, and so then they wiped themselves, though. So, yeah, I ended up coming out ahead, and there it is. You see the moment, folks. Rank up to Diamond. And I've played this deck like 8 more times since then, and I'm still going up. I think I might be at... I'm definitely reached tier 3. So, anyways, I had to show that off, even though these videos are not doing for me what they used to, because the YouTube algorithms or interest has gone down, I don't know. But thanks for checking it out, and until next time, I'm Nil Gravity, and remember, there is no gravity, the Earth just sucks.